Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which can be salty and it can be, it has a lot of cumin in it. Like it might have cilantro, and if you think it's soapy, like that's a weird thing within you. You have a mutant gene. But at the end of the day, it's hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hello. So today we're talking Life After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 46, 6, The Ring is Off. That's a weird, I think maybe it's because Michael took his ring off and we didn't hear Justine say, the ring is off, Mike. We didn't hear that at all, so it doesn't quite make any sense. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you this. I said it last episode, and this episode did not redeem itself. We are in the middle of a season of people who have scripted things on the show. And so to watch some of these couples, and I'm going to say like Brittany and Marcelino, Lindsay and Blaine, and Michael and Justine right now, it's giving tedious, it's giving scripted, it's giving contrived, it's not watchable, it's not fun to watch. Now, even the Monique and Derek stuff isn't really a fun watch anymore. What's giving me at least something, I guess, is Chance and Taylor and maybe Puppy and Amber. But I mean, it's just there's a lot of couples, and I'm not appreciating how long these episodes are especially because I'm not getting enough joy from them. What?
Yes, I absolutely agree. This was a boring ass episode. So yeah, let's just jump right into this.
Boring ass.
Because it wasn't worth my time. It was like Lindsay blowing up. So I guess we could start with her, but Lindsay and Blaine, because there was a moment in Lindsay and Blaine's story which really spoke to me as somebody who went to Black church all of their lives, and for 10 years of their adolescence. To watch that happen was kind of fun. But we start off with Lindsay packing. And she's not packing all of her things because she has a lot of things, but she's packing some items. And he's like, what are you doing? You're going to go open the door. Opens the door. And she's like, listen, I'm leaving. And I'm not going to tell you where I'm going because we don't tell each other the truth, nor do we talk to each other about decisions that we're making. So I'm leaving. But the first thing that I notice is two cats. Two cats. And their food is in a paper plate, not a Dixie paper plate, just like the generic brand. And then all around their cat food thing, it's just like hairballs and like debris. And I'm just like, who is cleaning this home? No one's cleaning the home.
Yeah, I think you. Yeah, no one is. Oh. So it's they're having what feels like somewhat of a fake fight, and so it's not very fun to watch. But it's fun to hear. I have to tell you, like I don't want to watch this scene and have to pay attention to like these people acting, or whatever, because it's just I can't. But it is such music to my ears to have their like ding dongy sing song voices just like roller coaster up and down my earballs. I love it. It's so fun. So even and Blaine specifically also, it's so anyway. I don't have to tell you other than I don't. It's like bullshit. But then basically his dad comes over and Blaine puts on this shirt to have this conversation with his dad. The shirt just says, Jesus is my plug.
Yeah. It's almost the same font as Cookie Plug, which I thought was really interesting. But the standoff between Blaine and Lindsay when she leaves, like he walks outside as she's, taking her rolling suitcase. It's like, where's she going? Is she going on a plane? Like exactly what she's doing. Exactly what is she doing? He follows her outside in his socks on the gravel ground. And I was like, oh, you're just walking on gravel with your socks? With your feet's out in the stones? And then she gets into, she puts her stuff in the car and he's like, damn, Lindsay, you're going to do this? You're just going to leave me again? You're going to dip out on me again? And she turns around and she's like, you're a liar. And he's like, well, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. And all I wanted to, like, now as an adult, when I hear that phrase, what does that mean? Where did the good Lord split you? In between your legs? So it's like, don't let the door hit you in your balls? Like,
No,
what
no,
is
no,
that?
no. Okay, I'll tell you. First of all, yeah, you alone don't you are gonna dip out on me again. It's so funny, dip out on me. So you have an ass crack, that's your split. So if your ass crack, so that's where they split you. So as you go out the door, it's like don't let the door hit you on your butt where the God split you, like, and he's gonna, like, give you a little credit card swipe, you know?
That okay, great. Where the good Lord split you. Now I know. Thank you, Chris, for that. Thank you. No,
Yeah,
the rest
no,
of the
listen,
world knows now.
anytime. Uh,
So he's like, Lindsay's like a walking stick of dynamite. You never know when she's gonna blow up. And then she gets into the car and she gets on the phone with somebody. She's like, "Hi, baby. I can't wait to see you." And all of a sudden, I'm like, is she this whole time entertaining another lesbian that she's gonna have living in their driveway out of a trailer? It's crazy. Anywho, we get to him and his dad is like, well, maybe Lindsay isn't the one if she isn't here. They get to the church. Lindsay's mother's there. Miley Grace is there. Lindsay is nowhere to be found. They're like, I thought she was with you. Well, no, I thought she was with you. Oh, we don't know where she is. And Blaine's like, I hope she's not somewhere doing crack. Like, he just immediately jumps to this thought in his mind where she might be somewhere like abusing drugs. And he gets inside of the church and he does his testimonial, which broke my heart. Chris, what did you think of the testimonial?
Okay, so there's ample organ music. Like ample. There's just tones happening. It feels like revivalist. Like It's interesting because this isn't my. This feels other to me in the kind of like faith-based mass things because I was just beaten down by Catholicism so much. I just like this feels weird to me, but um again, I like his voice, so and he anything that he says is going to be good. That's the part that really hit me is that because I feel this way is that I feel like my grandmother, my dad's mom, is like one of the only people that like truly knew and loved me, like in a way. So when he said that part, I related. Obviously, so yeah, he tells a story, my loves, right, about how his parents got divorced and how, he got on the streets, in the street life because he was, whatever. But yeah, he
Because
he
he felt abandoned by his divorced parents who
yeah.
split up and made him feel like they didn't really care about him. His grandma was the only person who made him feel like he was loved, and so he kind of took to the streets, and now he just wants to be a better person for her and to let her know that he is where he is now because of her guidance. Even though he went off the road a little bit, now he's back. He's 2 years sober, and it just was really touching. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
felt for him in that moment, and Lindsay snuck her little self in and then told her family to scoot over quite rudely. And then they had a moment afterwards, and she was like, I love you so much and I love you, we're still together. Then they walk off into the sunset together.
Oh yeah, that's a better version of what happened. Yeah. I just didn't. Yeah. Great. So let's move onzy onesies to. Do you want to do like? Oh God, I don't know. There's just not a lot of great people. Cameron.
Sure.
So Cameron and Eris, he calls his sister. Basically, he's coming off of last episode drama, which was that Eris was trying to find him and he wasn't picking up the phone because he was laying down bars. He's a rapper and she wants him to get a job. He's just freshly out of prison. He's like been there like a couple of days. So she is calling him, wants him to get a job. He's not answering. It's in a voicemail. So he goes, back home and she yells at him, blah, blah, blah. So this is now his conversation with his sister. They said the name of the sister and I couldn't remember. Steph, is that one the short-haired one?
I assumed it was the little Spitfire one who was wanting to fight Eris. That's who I assumed it was.
Yeah, I have to go back and remember which one's Stephanie. But like, I love his family obviously is great. All the sisters are great. So, and the sister gives him some solid advice, which is like, this is what she wants from you. This is what is expected of you. So if, at first you feel like she's going to take Cameron's side and be like, well, doesn't she know that that's your job? And I want to be like, that's not your job if you're not getting paid for it. That's not That is your hobby. That is your passion, honey. That is your, like your dream, whatever. We don't get paid for dreams. So anyway, yeah. So then she's like, will you also think about, like actually bringing home something tangible so that your wife, who you decided to get married to, like that person, like you don't fuck up that relationship, and also like you are, because they're traditional, like you have to do what you have to do, which is like bring home the bacon. That's kind of that also thing. What?
Yeah, so Steph is like, be a man, man up. If I were her, I wouldn't take your shit. So go in there and apologize to her. And so he goes in the house, and Eris comes down with a shirt that says hood music and fine dining. And I said, good for you. That's a
Mm-hmm.
really cute little thing to say. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so they start talking about how they feel. He apologizes. And he says that he slept like a baby on the couch, a pissed off baby, but he slept like a baby. And she turns to the wall and sees the frame that he broke off the wall, and she's like, oh, what happened to the love frame or the family frame? And he says, oh, I did an accidental renovation. I said, you know what, I can see you being a lyricist. That is a really great thing to say. An accidental renovation, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're talking, and he says that he doesn't think what he did was wrong, and she's like, so then why did you apologize? He says, because I don't think that me going to the studio was the wrong move, but I do think that how it made you feel and the fact that I didn't communicate to you was wrong. And I do understand that you want me to get a job and help you financially and support you, and that any kind of me not showing you that I want to do that, it makes you anxious. So I thought it was really a really good adult conversation from somebody who's not used to having those kind of adult conversations. They pinky swear to like each other, or to like love each other, whatever. And then Eris is really beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wrote down this. Okay, so when he plays her music, it's saying check her bag, right? Check her bag.
I didn't pay attention to the lyrics. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And I wanted, okay, because I really wanted to know if he meant like check her bag and make sure it's designer, or check her bag so she's not stealing from you, or don't date a woman unless you check her bag to make sure she has money. Like I didn't know what.
If I had heard it, and if I hear check her bag in a song, the thing I'm thinking is um how she makes her money. Check how she makes her money, because her
Oh yeah,
someone's bag is like
their money.
their money.
Yeah,
So that's what I
it's
would
like,
think.
yeah, like make sure that she doesn't earn her money in a bad way. Is that
My
what it
let
is?
me, you know what it is, viewers. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to it, and then I'll have an update for you next episode as to what I think it
Yeah.
is. Great.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry
yeah.
about that.
No, it's okay. And here's the thing, the mark of a true genius is like letting the audience be able to like fill in their own interpretations. And as you know, I think Cameron is an amazing rapper. So he also has this little LOL thing that I also thought was funny. Like we know Cameron's like a like a little kind of wiry, weaselly kind of fun person, like, and that's half of the thing. Half of the thing about why he'd be a great sidekick in any sort of movie is that kind of natural energy mixed with, you know, as Wah said, he's a good linguist. He puts words together in a fun way. Anyway, so having said that, he talks about how when he was like little and people would like, I don't know, come in, raiding or whatnot. I don't know exactly what the story was, but he would fold himself into small parts of, drawers and small under the sink spaces. And I'll tell you, in a different way, I used to do this too. I used to do this thing every day in preschool, or I think it was kindergarten, where they had this little cubby hole, and I would take like whatever book I was reading, and it felt so good to fold myself up like, crisscross applesauce, and then from there like a bed, like a whatever, a fold up bed, and then put myself in a cubby hole and read the book against my legs, and it almost feels like a protective thing. So when he said that to me, I was like, oh, I get that too. I miss the times in which I could sort of fold my body and hide somewhere in a little like nook and cranny, a little crevice somewhere. Like there's a safety there. It must be like that thing where pack animals like to live in caves or something Like, you can't get me in here, you know?
Pack animals like to live in caves. I'm gonna look that up.
Well, like
Next.
coyotes. Hmm.
Oh, that kind of pack. Okay. What grade were you in this one?
I said kindergarten, but I think that was the last thing I said, and I
What
think
is
that's
it?
true.
What is it? What
Kindergarten.
is it called?
Oh no. Yeah, I have certain words I don't say right. Okay, so the word is, I think, kindergarten,
Okay.
but I like saying kindergarten.
Okay. Kindergarten is what I heard. I was like, oh,
Kindergarten.
I've never
That's
heard
like
anyone say that.
garden. That's very like, yeah, that sounds like a fancy would say it like that way. Yeah. So, having said that, that's all I have to say about them. Anything else about them, babe?
No, let's always move on to Puppy and Amber. So in this one, we start off with Amber going somewhere where this guy's like, hey, yeah, meet me over here. And she's like, I'm on my way to you. And it's
Yes.
very like, oh, what's happening? I mean, listen, I'm all about her not being with TC. I think TC is a toothless waste of her time, but he is also the best thing, the kind of relationship she's ever had, very stable. And I just don't like him. So she's going to go meet this new person, and it's a friend that she's known since middle school, who's always had her back, who's always been down for her, who doesn't judge her past. And he is doing a Mexican restaurant. I just, you know what it is, and this is just maybe the American in me, and maybe it doesn't matter, but I want to know. I feel like she's Native American part and something else. I want to know what her ethnicity is. I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, because I do, because she has such a beautiful face, and like mine. No, I'm just kidding. It just zoomed in right then. But she has such a beautiful bone structure.
Yeah.
That. But at the same time, yeah, it could really. There's so many indigenous mixes within people that you just. I don't
I
know
just
what
want to
people
know.
are
I'm
gonna like
curious.
find out. Sure.
Yeah. So she meets with her Mexican friend, and they have he has like several restaurants. He's a business guy, and he's like, if you get 50K, I'll let you run this place, and we'll be business together. And then she says something which I never would have thought to even ask, and she's like, did you get sold the business and the building, or just the business? And I said, okay, ask the right questions, because I don't know that at all. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because you have such obviously autonomy when you own the building as well. You're not beholden to someone else changing your lease terms, or raising your lease rent, whatever it is. So, which is great. So this guy, his family always owned Mexican restaurants, so he has, obviously experience in that. And he just pretty much is like, listen, do you want to be a partner? And she is like, that doesn't always happen that I can just get offered a thing. Like, and that's true. Now, I would love to know for her, like, what is her experience working in restaurants? But basically, he's like, no, you can just come in kind of with like 50K, which is not a lot. When she asks about whether he owns the building, he says it's an option, so I don't know how much all of that would be. I don't know. Is she a silent partner? Is she is she a hostess in the front? Is she, because you obviously, for a restaurant, you absolutely need to have owners and hands-on management, go ahead.
Yeah, she was a manager of a restaurant. That's what she just quit. So she talked about how, this is a business that she knows. So I think ever since she got out, she's been doing this kind of work. And I believe she's been out for like 3 years. So she actively got like a manager role relatively quickly. Now, I don't know if she's able to run it to the tip top best shape, but I think this gives her the opportunity to at least try. And so she talks about how she, is okay that she had to quit her job. Like TC let her quit, and she stays at home now with the kids, and like, I guess gets them up for school and like does some stuff. And she likes being a mom or something, which is like just an odd thing for me to even imagine her doing. But she wants something different in her life because she doesn't want to have to think about the things that weigh on her mind. And the only thing I can think of is the abortion that she had to have for her health. And so she's like, I need to keep busy. And then she's like, I'm gonna get this money by hook or by crook. So the only thing I can think of is like, maybe she's gonna go to the bank and see if she can get a loan, or maybe partner with TC to see if they could get a loan, and she would just work on paying that back and doing whatever she has to do by putting her heart and soul into this business. But personally, I feel like, he brings up a very good point. He's like, yeah, you're a mom now or whatever. You're not going to be able to do that. And and run this business. And she's like, no, make it work. And I'm like, yeah, because those kids are basically teenagers, so they can do it by themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we've got our girl Pup, and Pup
Yeah.
has decided to move from her mother's place to Queens, not Queens, New York, but Queen's house, her friend Queen, who has lost a lot of weight.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, I know she obviously Puppy says she's like, you look fabulous. And it's just like, holy shit, Queen. Good for you, honey. Good for you.
Yeah, she's like, who are you? Who is this person? So she comes into the house, and Queen tells her, like, yes, you know, mi casa es su casa, pero you need to pay. And Bubby's like, I will. Yeah, I will. You know, I don't have any money right now, but I will.
Yeah, then you better not touch anything. You better not use anything. You better drip drop your water, honey, until you can like give a little money for them bills. You know, like you are only watching TV if I'm watching it and you stand behind me and we get to sit on the couch. You know, you're just like, what is that? Yeah, like don't turn on one light bulb. You know, you're air drying your hair. You know, so yeah, like you know, she's like, well, I don't want Eric to come. And Quinny's like, well, good, because Eric is absolutely fucking not allowed, you know, and then Puppy, because she's so,
Puppy.
you know, puppyish, she's like, we have to make sure that, you know, you don't let me go back to him, you know, and it's like, okay, but couldn't you also make sure that you don't go back to him too? I mean, can you just kind of like, you know, I get the hardest thing about loving Puppy is like, understanding that seems so weak and delicate all of the time. And you know, here's the thing about it. In the generation that we live, it's like I don't get to see this kind of person that much. But I guess for generations before us, this is how people were, right? Women sometimes like this. I think there are more women like Puppy than before, right? But because Puppy just seems like she seems lost unless she is with a stronger personality and dominant force. Doesn't Gender is whatever it is.
Yeah.
Go on.
You know what? I don't think that there's any less of that. I think that there's still the same um amount of women who are like this, except for they don't get to represent women anymore. You know, because men aren't telling the stories anymore. Like I feel like many men want to tell the story of a woman being just like Puppy, completely oarless, without a man or some other strong dominant person to give them that. And you know, part of me is jealous of that. Whenever I'm around someone who I think like is just floating on the air, bandying about the joint, moving left and moving right without any and just like, and people just like will be there to care for them. Like, what if one day I just lost my shit and I like couldn't do that? I just am not confident that anyone would show up for me in the way that I would require. And that the truth is that may not be true, but I just get jealous. I'm like, you know, but I love Puppy. Like, I love the fact that she's so aptly named, and she would support her friends as well. Like, I feel like if Amber were to call her, she'd be on the next flight, break parole, get everything fucked up, go back to prison. You know what I'm saying? Just for her friends. So I think she's deeply loyal when it comes to that as well. But yeah, so happy for Queen to have lost the weight. Because you know, she probably feels a lot better. I mean, them titties be tittying though, like, you know what I'm saying? She probably still has a little bit of backache. All right, let's move on to Michael and Justine. This was dumb because he didn't have to start this fight. I mean, whoever set them up to do this scene needs to give Mike a little bit of lessons on scene development, because she's checking the bank account and there is $12,000 missing. I am poor. Let me just start off with saying that I am a poor person, because I have never even seen 12,000 in a bank in one person's account. Only one time when somebody was buying shoes and they like showed me how much they had in their account, and it was like $85,000 because their card wasn't going through. And I was like, well, just because I see you have $85,000 in your bank account doesn't mean that I can just somehow sell these shoes to you if the machine that makes the purchase won't ring you up. So, but like, yeah, I'm just like, so like the idea that she's like, wow, $12,000 is missing, and she isn't like losing her shit. She's like, where'd it go, Mike? And also, wasn't he only supposed to take out 5,000? So why did he take out 12,000? Was it to rent that stupid ass car? Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I think of all this. I think of like there's so many like the Camerons and the and the Michaels in this program who are like, I make my money, you don't have to worry about it. Like Cameron, that thing works, I guess, if you have secret money somewhere. But if you don't have your secret money somewhere, then don't be fucking talking shit. Here's the thing, Michael. If you wanted to buy her the ring, then you should have bought her the ring with your money, secret money somewhere from your other things. I don't know. I'm not going to ask any fucking questions, but I don't understand why you think you're going to take 12,000 from your like checking account. This woman's like paying all the baby bills and everything like that. Like, absolutely not. Like, you do what you have to do from your streets or whatnot, get your 12K, honey, and that's how you do it. So that alone is like confusing to me. Like, also, not confusing, but it's also a telltale sign because they had also set this up when he was buying. Like, I hope she doesn't find out, by looking at the account. And then the next scene's like, where's the money? So God bless. So basically everything that he says that is near obnoxious is his excuse, which is like, yeah, no, this investment opportunity came up. You know what it is, crypto, NFTs. And which is like, when was this? I want to be like, when was this recorded? Because like, if anyone is saying that they're like investing in crypto or NFTs right now, like you just leave that person. I mean, just to go away from that person. Also, like the thing that is so hard to deal with, I think, when it comes to watching other people make decisions, I think is like people's absolute belief that Instagram and or social media fame is only a mere post away and any time is about to befall them, as well as this crypto or NFT thing where saying that like, you are about to make money.
Yeah, like I think that he didn't have to respond the way he responded. Now, he knew he was going to have to tell her something that was fake, right? And instead of him just saying, "Yeah, babe, I'm so sorry. I invested it. I completely forgot to tell you about that. I'm so sorry." He then goes, "But why do I have to tell you though?" So then I'm like, "So you wanted to just fight with her?" Like, I don't understand this choice, this character development choice. And when she gives you valid reasons why you should tell her, you still say, I was the one who told you how to invest the money. I was the one who told you where to drop the blicky off so the guy could give me the 10K. I was the one who told you how to hustle in New York City and make an extra 5K. Like, that's what he's making it seem. I'm like, what did you help her do exactly from prison to make money? And then you're gonna make it seem like you did that. So everything that she's like, I put my money, my hard-earned money from working 16-hour shifts. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think you make that much money. Like, I don't think you put $12,000. And if so, how are you feeding your kids? Because like, to save up that amount of money for what, 3 years? I mean, I don't know. You would have to be saving aggressively to save. Go ahead,
I
12,000
will
in
say
3 years.
this. I think that also, I mean, I don't know anything about this, but in New York, and she's a nurse, and during COVID, if she worked extra hours, she might have gotten crazy bonuses.
Yeah, I
Remember
guess
that?
I didn't think she was that kind of nurse though. I thought she was some kind of, I don't think, in my mind I never thought she was actually quitting a legit RN nursing gig. I thought she was quitting some kind of like assistant, uh what is it called? Like a medical assistant gig. So that's where I'm coming from. So I mean, if definitely she was a real nurse, then yeah, everything I'm saying is wrong.
I got it. My loves. Do I remember exactly what she called herself? No, but anyway, okay. So yeah, basically, then we had this stupid conversation, and he's waiting to propose to her in Vegas. Because remember his sister came to like take care of the kids, all them kids. So they get their Southwest flight, honey, and their what looks like Coach. I don't know if it was Coach Plus because he has them long legs. And then they get out. They're wearing like matching, weird, like there's a weird picture of like someone singing, I don't know, stupid onesies. They get to Vegas, and it's a little hard because the hip hop lifestyle is such that it's like cars and PJs and everything like that, private jets and like not play pajamas. What if I was like,
Cars and
no,
pajamas.
wow, I'm a rapper, I'm a hip hop connoisseur. So no, you didn't know that thing about the hip hop culture is that one of the biggest things is like, like comfy pajama sets.
Yes, I mean, if they're like some kind of designer and they're matching, and yeah, I get that.
Fendi, I
That
know,
was so
LV.
hilarious. They do get that like BMW, some kind of like Corvette type fucking suicide door car.
But Yes, but then they check into an off strip, who knows what, no. And I just, okay, I listen, this is gonna be bougie for me, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
No,
And
it,
sometimes I'm bougie, and sometimes you're gonna deal with it. There are so many hotels in Vegas, and there are so many on strip and like, on the strip ones and like off Freeman Street ones are like the one that's like the old fashioned part. That if you are literally going off all of that, you are paying $23 for a room because there are so many specials and things. So when I see them go to this hotel, I'm like, where the hell is this? I'm just like, oh, this isn't a good look. This isn't a good
yeah,
look.
it was a Hampton Inn. They like they get this fancy ass bougie ass car to pull into a
Yes.
Hampton Inn, and I just like don't get it. I would personally rather just have gotten a Honda, rented a. Do they even rent Hondas? I don't even know if I've ever rented. Rent a Toyota, and then stayed at a bomb ass hotel. I don't know.
Or the gold, like, here's the thing. The Win, sure, that's high end. But even to watch them walk into like the Golden Nugget, which is like fun because it's like off that other side. It's not like the fanciest fancy, but at least you're like enjoying a little bit of the texture
Vegas.
of Las Vegas. The other side of me will be like, well, I wonder if production literally could not get a permit anywhere. And they're like, look, we got to be able to like shoot you guys. So like they don't want us to do that. And so listen, was Ellis Island ever an option for a production? And if so, that it should be an option for the future because Ellis Island
I just don't like. I can't even
is the
imagine what
place.
those hotels look like and what the rooms look like at Ellis Island. It is literally a motel with like a fun karaoke spot like attached to it. All right, so they go to meet Mocha. Mocha is like very bad actingly rude to Justine, and Michael says nothing about it. Like you don't have your best friend not even acknowledge your wife, and you don't say, "Come on, man, that doesn't make any sense." No, no, they meet the big tittied receptionist, and they go into the studio. She like shows off her pregnant belly as though it's like a food baby, and keeps rubbing it. And Mocha wants to talk to Mike alone and goes on the veranda and is like, listen, man, why you over here wasting my time coming over here with your wife and your family and shit? Either you want a family or you want a rapper. You're going up against 19-year-olds who could easily stay up and stay out all night. And he's like, well, I did that before and I didn't see my kids growing up and I really want my kids, man. And da-da-da. And Mocha's like, take the ring off, then let's do this. If you're down, you're down. And so then now Michael, I guess, is gonna again sacrifice his children and watching them grow up for, making money in the rap gang.
Yeah, that's what that is. But I will tell you this, during the scene, I mean, we haven't seen Justine in full makeup in a second, like, and she's beautiful. She doesn't need it. She's like, I think that Justine's really pretty. But it's actually very interesting to see her now like full-faced Vegas. She looks like a little like Disney character, like the
Yeah.
big eyes and everything. Like she's beautiful either way, but like I haven't seen them that makeup yet.
Yeah, you're
So
right. And I'm gonna say this. I think
we'll say it.
I think we all deserve and need a little concealer. Like there's not like a 12-year-old doesn't need concealer, a 16-year-old doesn't need concealer, but once you get to a certain age and once you've had 3 children, you need concealer.
Yeah. Okay, so can we move on to someone? Could we just move on and get these people over with? I can't. Now I really don't know what to tell you about them.
I no, I want to continue talking about our makeup, Chris.
Do you see what she does to me? It's a nightmare.
Yes, I do want to move forward. Yes, let's move forward.
Brittany and Marcelino, you don't need to be on the show anymore. I am so sorry. I'm happy that you did it. You already won. Just take your winnings and go. I just cannot watch any more of this. Marcelino talking is just, it's like, here's the thing. At least with Blaine, with his acting, at least I get like sing-songy tones and a little more audible, audio-esque texture. With Marcelino, to have him say these lines of like, Brittany, I don't know what you want from me, it's like I don't know what to tell you. It's like watching the worst acting of my entire life. Like, and I am just like in my chair, just like in a bad acting class, just like moving around. I'm trying not to like move too much. It's like the cringiness is coming out of my pores. I have to like exercise it out. Like I don't want to see it. Like I also feel like I'm mad at the producers and Brittany and Marcelino that think that we care or want to watch you guys fight. I mean, over and over and over again. I'm like, Marcelino, you have to choose me. Like, I just, girl, like, I choose to not watch this. Like, I choose to fast forward it. I choose to pretend it's not happening to me. Like, I'm having an out of body experience having to watch you guys argue over and over again, like to the point where it's making me not like them as people anymore. And I want to like them as people.
Wow. I will say though that I did like when she's like, I gave up my body for you to have your 2 kids. And I was like, yeah, she did. She did. Cause she came out a like fit, flat tummied thickum. And now she's not that. So, but she has a little donk on her. She was wearing them pants. And I was like, oh, look at her little butt. Also, he's like, Brittany, I can't put on a cape and fly over the moon for you. And she was like, I don't want you to fly over the moon, Mars. That's not what I want. I just want you to show me that you love me. And yeah, it is unwatchable. It was very boring. And but I think women do have to give up their bodies. Okay, now next couple.
Yes, you're right. That's why we have to get things like that's why we get money and stuff like that. That's why we get more money. And that's why we get to keep houses and stuff like that. That's why. Okay, go on.
Oh, I was like push presents. Like and I follow you. You mean in divorces? That's why we get things. Okay. So Derek and Monique. So I guess Monique and Derek have been hashing it out and working it out over the phone. Derek is packing up his bags. He's at his great grandma's house and he's trying to like say he's, super excited about going to see Monique because they want to start all over again and forget about the past, which is like a crazy thing because I'm gonna tell you right now, my future husband, my future partner, my future person out there, let me tell you right now, I cannot forget. I won't. Things that imprint on my soul make it so that I am unable to move forward. And if I can't move forward, I'll let you know. Most likely I can't move forward. Or if I do move forward, know that I'm going to consistently remind you of the time that you did the thing to me. And it's like I can't, so that's why I need to not go forward because like how can Monique move forward from this? And like how can they just forget about the past? And it's just like a crazy like pipe dream that he would even say something so nuts like this. So he can't wait to go to Chicago to see her. He's like, oh my gosh, she won't believe it. I want to make her feel good. I want to like love on her and stuff. And then he's like, I gotta ask my PO because PO could just say no at any time. And it's so funny when like someone when we see like fast forward to him talking to his PO and the PO saying the things that he didn't do. And that's why he's in the position that he's in now. And his only response is, man, she a hater, which is like the most infuriating thing. And I think that's why Monique is always so mad with him because it's like you give somebody a roadmap and you tell them what they have to do. And for some reason, the person still thinks that they don't have to do the things in the way that the roadmap says it needs to get done. So it's like, I call you, you answer the phone. So Monique, but Derek won't answer the phone when Monique calls. So when she's mad about it, he's like, what you mad for? And she's like, don't baby me. I called you 3 times this morning. You didn't answer. Yeah, I was asleep. Yeah, but you're awake now and you've been awake for at least an hour. Why haven't you called? Anyway, so he just like frustrates me to the nth degree. But his G-Ma loves him.
Yeah. Is this his grandmother or great grandmother?
Great.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I said this because, it's so interesting. She's exquisite looking. Like she's wearing a wig and it looks beautiful. It looks like either the dye job of it or whatever. It just looks, it's exquisitely put on her head. I had a great grandmother that I knew, and her name was Granny, and she had a wig, and it always was a little off, like because it comes to a point, honey, where it's just kind of it's just sitting there, and so I guess. To watch this great grandmother like look so stylish. She was just so, I don't know. I loved the look of this great grandmother. I was just like, yeah, you look gorgeous. Like you still have it. Okay. So, and also she like, she thinks Derek is making the dumbest choice ever, but she's seen dumber choices. So, but at least she also says this, she's like, your siblings, we're not there for you to help you make good choices, and you cannot let them, drag you down. And so there is this element of from Monique and now his own family that like his sisters are toxic somehow for him. there's a toxic element of the relationship that they don't have his best interests, or there's an influence they could have that is negative towards his life. So it's just an interesting thing to say, that from different people. So now the next thing is he's in the car with, well, yeah, he has a conversation with Monique, as Wa said, and then we see him in the car with his uncle, and his uncle has, like, he wants to go to, obviously, Chicago to visit Monique. His uncle has bought him these, like, what looks like 24 long stem roses, like, got this for you, like, Monique should like it. And I was like, Jesus, I can't even imagine a world in which my uncles or my, just you bought someone roses. Like, it's interesting. Oh, you're just going to pick this person up and buy them roses for their loved one? I guess also he's on TV, so maybe there's also a thing about it. I said this, by the way, as in the Docu Sweeties Instagram account. No worries, but you could follow it. On a Love After Lockup post, that Derek's hair is always perfect. His uncle has good hair too. And obviously the wig that his great grandmother, like, whatever, also great. But Derek's hair is always on point. And that comment was liked by over 300 people because people have noticed.
Yeah, I mean, Black people tend to be really pretty meticulous about our hair. It's like a thing. So the fact that they all came, they know they're going to be on camera, so they're like, Monique's wigs are always really good too. Like, Monique's hair and face is usually put together pretty well, and that's the one thing I'll give her. I did want to go back to the grandmother real quick. He gets into the kitchen with her, and the grandmother's like, "Oh, honey, I'm making you some lunch," and I was like, "That's the cutest thing." And then she's like, he's like, "Yeah, I'm grandma. I'm gonna ask her to marry me." The grandma looks like, "Say what?" And then she sits down. She sits down, and she's like, "Oh, okay. What would you do if you?" And then Derek's like, "What would you do if you was in love?" And she's like, "But are you ready to settle down and commit to Monique in a way that you need to commit? Or are you just somebody who still wants to play the streets? Because don't go over there and making Monique feel bad, and let Monique know that she is loved, that this side of the family loves her." And I said, "Oh my God, so sweet." It actually makes me not hate Monique as much as I do. Like, that's what it does. It makes me not dislike her in the way that I kind of dislike her, because I'm like, if that woman likes her, then maybe she's worth my time. But the truth is she isn't. So Derek ends up getting permission from the PO, because I guess she checks her email and sees that he actually did send the return ticket information. And so it's funny because she says, "Yes, you can go to Chicago," as he's driving to the airport. And the lady knows it. The lady's like, "Oh, well, have a good flight." She knows that that man is on his way. And she's like, "Derek, I'm not here for your shit. You go ahead and just, I will pull you back if you don't answer my phone call." And I think, wow, I would never want to be a PO. Could you imagine having to babysit grown ass people who can't follow simple, stupid instructions?
That part. It's not even just, anyone that has to do managerial stuff or human relation stuff or human, you have to deal with people like this all the time. But yeah, my heart goes out to people who are also dealing with people who have a skewed responsibility, perhaps. And of course, some people that, go to prison haven't, but like there might be people that have a skewed responsibility and or like discipline in such a way to not even understand how the infrastructure of making decisions in that kind of like organizational way would work. So it's like you are just up against people that, you have to be led through things like this. Why are you looking at me as if it just hit you?
Because it did just hit me. Like,
Yeah,
what a
it's
great
like,
way to put that. Like, to me, it comes so naturally that I just can't, like, it's hard for me to sometimes imagine that there are people who like, it's this puppy to me. It's like, bing, what? It's all the same. Like, yeah.
I read somewhere it's like not everyone gets to go to college, right? Like, and for various reasons, but some parts, I think I don't know exactly where it was, but I read somewhere like, what is college other than telling someone I had to finish things for 4 years? I didn't have to finish everything, but I had to finish a majority of things or projects for 4 years that I'd left with such a thing, like, so the training of that is kind of what we're talking about. And I don't, so for people who have never had the kind of follow through to like had to go through that, like it's just a foreign thing. And also maybe decision making and follow through hasn't been shown to them in such a way by any sort of mentor, by any sort of like example, that to have them fall into it might be difficult. Also, I think that we're also in a conversation with a generation of people who do feel entitled or do feel like skirting around or getting the easy shortcut is like the way to do it. It means not only that you get from point A to point B, but that you are more successful, that you had to do less work for. It's almost to be like applauded, so there
Yeah.
might be a lot of ways to look at this. So, but I do like the fact that Derek has what looks like a ball busting, or sounds like a ball busting,
PO.
strong PO, that I think is a female, even though the voice sounds obviously generated. It felt like a very strong woman who has raised children being like, you're not the first, you won't be the fucking last. Okay. Not the first, not the last.
Yep.
Anyway. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is, oh no, Taylor and Chance.
Nope, Taylor and Chance. So, baby, that baby boy is born. Here's the thing, Taylor was like afraid first, where she was like, I'm starting to feel pain and stuff like that. And so we're scared because I never had kids and I like don't want to see someone just like scream their fucking face off. But then she kind of is slightly smiling. I don't know if the epidural hit, honey, but she sort of just what looks like meditatively smirks and pushes his baby out. I mean, listen, I'm sure it was very painful, but like she didn't seem to be screaming, which is great. What a very Scientology-esque birth. You know what I mean? I'm talking about that. So the baby is like born, given to her, the baby is like, screaming, but in a good way, like Chance is like, give me that. I want to see the baby. I want to hold the baby. Can I see the baby? Can I hold the baby? Can I hold me? Can I hold me? It's me. It's the baby me. So he is like, can I hold the baby? And like, Taylor is laying there and can barely move. She's like, I don't know what you want from me. And he's like, I will pick up the baby. So he picks up the baby, which, I think you should let the baby and the mom like a second more, and also like skin to skin. And the baby is like not into it. Like baby's like, give me back to my mom. And he's like, well, you've been holding that baby 9 months. It's my turn. No, whatever, God bless. So
oh my God.
he holds the baby, the baby like, chills. The baby has like big lips.
I didn't really look at the baby. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like that baby,
Yeah.
I kind of was cleaning. I was sorting my laundry at the time of the birth, and what I did check back in is when the baby is like 5 weeks old, and there's a lot of screaming and a lot of him being like Taylor, and then the girls jumping all over the place because maybe it's summer and they don't have school. And her being slightly and not slightly very overwhelmed with all of the children that she has to take care of. And Chance saying like, I hope after, her having my baby, I hope it lets her know that I'm here for her. And literally the next scene is like him just not being there for her in a way that is helpful. Which I don't think that Taylor has the vocabulary to be able to truly explain to Chance what it is that she needs, one. And B, I don't think that he has the wherewithal or the mental capacity and fortitude to truly be there for someone in a way that they need rather than in a way that he thinks is appropriate to give. Like, I don't think that she could even say, hey, I need you to pick him up every other hour. I think that he wouldn't be able to do it because he would try to figure out a way to not do it in a way that supports her, but do it in a way that better supports him and his agenda. Because at the end of it, I believe that Chance is a narcissist and selfish. And I think it's indicative of the fact that he, has had the issues that he's had throughout his life. And he truly wasn't ready for a family. He should have just come out and done all of the selfish things that he wanted to do. He should have figured out his own life, gotten a place to live, gotten a job. And then we have a scene where she calls her no good ass sister, Bobby, because she's like, me and Bobby haven't talked in a couple months. And I'm like, it hasn't been a couple months. It's been a couple weeks because the baby's only 5 weeks. But anyways, because she left the delivery room and I was mad about it. And again, it's Taylor not being able to truly explain to people around her how she feels. And so with that, people treat her any kind of way. And she doesn't have boundaries either. So she tells Bobby how stressed out she is about money. And Bobby's like, yeah, he better be, I don't know what Bobby says actually. We cut to Chance. We found out that this fucker has lost his job.
This is the worst part of the whole episode and also feels very real. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He lost his job. He doesn't tell Taylor because he says it's easy to lie to her. It's easier.
It's better. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's easier to lie to her than tell her the truth, because then she's going to get worried and be on him and asking him questions, and you know that he doesn't like her asking him question because it like ruins his vibe. It like brings down his chill. And
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
oh my god.
It's horrible. We've already obviously, yeah, bring down the chill is so funny because it reminds me of something Michael says about Justine. Like, she's just not chill sometimes. And I'd be like, oh, because you want someone to be okay with you making a horrible decision. That's what you're saying? Yeah, no, it's because you're making a horrible decision. But anyway, God bless. For him, we've already seen a situation where he and Taylor went to a financial analyst, and, you know, the financial analyst is like, where's your money? And he was like, I gamble, you know, whatever. Like, we've had that moment already. So now in this scene where he's been laid off and he is leaving the house because I'm assuming that Taylor thinks he's going to work, but he doesn't have a job. So he has to go now find money in like odd places. And so he goes to visit his friend who, you know, like is a construction person or, you know, has projects in such a way. And his friend's like, yeah, dude, like, you know, we might have some work coming up like in 5 or 6 weeks. And, you know, chances like in 5 or 6 weeks we won't have a roof over our heads, which is like, that's why you don't, I don't know, spend every second, we don't, that's why you don't spend future money. That's why you don't spend future money. Like, that's why you don't get as dumbass. I want to be like, give back the car right now. Give the car. Where's the truck? Give it. Then you no longer have that truck. You sell the rims, then put the I don't, first of all, that. Okay. So anyway, he gets back in the car, honey. And I will tell you, look at this. A fucking baby behind him, like the like little evil gambling baby on his back, just being like, I know a way for you to get money. Do you need money? I know a way. Go to the casino. So then he goes to this fucking bar or whatever, like, you know, and he's like, oh, is that video slot things over there or whatever? And the guy's like, yeah, you know, and ever since we put him in, I can't believe the winnings people have gotten from them. Here's more drinks or whatever. And so what does this asshole do? He goes and loses like $70. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's like food. That is a bill. That's half of a bill, or that's something, and he just loses it, and then he's mad at himself. And then he says to producers, I really thought I was going to win.
They always do. They always do.
I really thought I was going to win. That is like jumping off of a like a balcony and being like, I really thought I was going to fly. I really thought there was going to be a gust of wind, and that gust of wind's like mass was going to be bigger than my mass, and it was going to push me into the air. Like, it is such a crazy idea that you really think that you could manifest a win off of a poker game or something, and you haven't even told, he is about to single-handedly bring Taylor down. And I'm like, girl, go to the county and get on some assistance immediately. Kick him out. Get all your kids' social security numbers, take it down to the county and like get you some money. Cause this man is absolutely worthless, and he's gonna only do nothing but stress you out and bring you down. It's sad.
At this point, the smartest thing that she has ever done is not get married to him, so that she
Absolutely.
I think that she, and I don't know the law exactly, but like that she's not tying her tax ID number to his. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is the end of the episode. At the end of today, this is the end. Happy
Yeah.
April Fool's Day. The fool, I guess, at this point is Taylor, you know, because
Yeah.
she has gotten herself in a bad situation, but I hope that she can get herself out of it. And I'm happy that Mason was a healthy, easy delivery. So God bless that. And that's it, baby boos.
All right, you guys. So if you want to see the visuals of what has been tickling your eardrums, you can do so on patreon.com/docusweeties. It is $10 a month. You get to see our videos as soon as they come out. So those who are on Patreon will get it immediately today on April Fool's Day. You also get the Mondays we go live, the first Mondays of the month we go live, and that is actually this Monday coming up, so that's going to be cool. And then there'll be some extra content where I'm going to be reviewing past seasons of 90 Day Fiance, so you'll get that as well. So it's only 2 Starbucks cups of coffee a month that you could give up in order to give to us, so that we can provide you the quality content. We do thank those of you guys who are currently our patrons. You guys are awesome. And I'll kick it over to Chris so she can tell y'all about our social medias.
Yes, if you want to see, fun clips of us, and or if you want to, just go ahead and follow and like a bunch of our posts because you're just like, these girls need it, and you can feel our desperation through our voices. We appreciate that. We are at DocuSweeties through Instagram, at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter, and at DocuSweeties on TikTok. And at the same time, if you haven't yet, please consider giving our podcast 5 stars wherever you listen, or a review. We would incredibly appreciate it. We're so thankful to, go on this journey with you of the show. And here's, the love after this lockup maybe isn't between these two couples, but between all of us collectively watching these people rehab their lives. Well,
yeah. So we'll talk to you guys later. All the best. Bye.